What is up? My name is Nick Page. I'm the founder of the Trainer Page and Nutrition X, and in this video, I'm going to break down the new UN42 Smart and Simple Nutrition Playbook. So, if you're doing this, you are about to embark on a journey of 6 weeks to absolutely improve your health and muscle and mentally feel like best you ever have. So, not to waste any time, I always like to say the end of this video, the outcome I'm looking for you is to watch this and say, this is pretty simple. I think I really can execute this. All right. So I'm going to try to go as fast and efficient as possible, but I will talk slow, I will talk clearly, and I will really make sure you understand this at a high level so you are confident and ready to rock and roll, right? Complexity is the enemy of execution. So if this is confusing, this seems too complex, the chances of you executing it and really doing it to the highest level is low. So the goal is to keep it simple, keep it actionable, and make sure you have a full understanding of this. Plus, you'll have the support from the nutritionist to ask any questions. So that's why we asked you to watch this video first, so you have a very high level understanding. If there's any specific questions, you can ask a nutritionist and they will help you right away. So let's get started. So welcome to the new UN42 Smart and Simple Nutrition Playbook. This is not just another program. It's designed to keep things simple, stress-free, and sustainable, right? Forget complicated rules and extreme diets. This program focuses on small, consistent actions that lead to big, lasting results. So what makes this different from other nutrition programs, right? It's simple. It's not hard, right? It's easy to follow, especially if you're a busy person like me, and it really helps you build long-term habits and really focus on micro-winning your day. So winning your day, which I'll go into, is so important, especially when it comes to nutrition. And we want to keep this stress-free, because if you're overwhelmed and you're too stressed out, the chances of you following through are just, it's not going to happen. Let's just be honest. And we focus on progress here, not perfection, right? Perfection is the lowest standard you can ever achieve because it's impossible to reach. All right, I'll say that again. And perfection is the lowest standard you can reach or go after because it's impossible, right? Nothing's perfect. So missing a day, messing up, having a bad meal is not going to throw off the whole program, right? It's life, people. I'm a person who likes to eat, and I imagine a lot of people are the same way. So this allows you to still live a normal, balanced life, but prioritize your fitness goals and your eating to help you hit your, physical goals of losing weight, body fat, building muscle, whatever, and so on and so forth. So the purpose of this is to feel confident, sticking to habits that you actually are like, wow, these aren't that challenging and I can execute and get it done, and simply enjoy the process, right? Because eating doesn't have to be a chore, but it is still something that needs to get done in order to hit those goals that you have. So let's go into the next page. All right, let me make myself smaller. So I'm going to stay right in the middle here, right in your forehead. Now, so this is kind of the table of context, but let's start with the habits and goal setting. So this is really important. This is a part I think a lot of people overlook, but this is one of my many favorite quotes, right? You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. So imagine the transformation after 42 days of daily wins, the energy, the confidence, the pride you feel, you'll come after, right? 6 weeks isn't really that long of a time. It's just 42 days, but a lot can happen in 6 weeks. So the first thing, we want to set your intention, okay? So what do you mean set the intention? I want you to right now take a deep breath and actually think how you want to feel, right? The version of yourself that you were striving to become. So you can either say that's the 2.0 version of yourself, or you can say it's the 10.0 version of yourself, right? And that version of yourself that you want to become, the person who maybe is working out consistently, eating healthier than they ever have, feeling more focused and aligned and less stressed and less anxious and just feeling more accomplished and confident, right? That version of yourself that you're striving to become, if you weren't, you wouldn't be doing a program like this. I want you to you have to understand, in order to become that person, you must act in accordance to that person. And you need to set the intention, and this program is going to give you the steps for that. So the first question you want to write is, why are we doing this, right? Why? So if you want to do this along, right, while watching this video, if it's on your phone and you have the physical booklet, or you want to grab a piece of paper, pause the video and write down why. Great. Now, what's the goal, right? Think achievable goals, right? At the end of this, I want to lose 10 pounds, 2% body fat. I want to be able to eat without stressing about it. I want to have better habits, right? But be specific, right? Smart goals, smart, measurable, attainable, I always forgot the R, and timely. The SMART goal acronym is very important. And basically what you want to do is sign, like literally sign this to yourself and date it, because this is a commitment you're making to yourself, and a commitment that for the next 42 days, you are going to do new things that you haven't done before or haven't done for this consistent amount of time that will get you to become that level of version of self. And I don't mean to really go off on a tangent here, but thinking about that high level version of yourself, right? That is the person you are looking to become. So you must act in accordance to that person. So think about the version of yourself that has already accomplished your goals and has done even more, and think, well, what decisions will they make? What will they say when someone offers them a piece of cake and they know they really shouldn't eat it, right? You end up starting to align and become that person by making those micro sacrifices and winning your days and doing things you haven't done before to get to a place you've never been to. Okay? So as you can tell, I'm very into this stuff, so let's keep going. And this video is probably gonna be a little longer than I'd like, but I think it's valuable. Okay, so the daily checklist, right? The key is winning your days. And this doesn't just apply to nutrition, this is gonna apply to business and life and your personal side. But the daily checklist is critical, right? So the way we like to set this up is you have four things to accomplish for the day. Like literally, if you do nothing else for the entire day, right? It's a lazy Sunday. In order for you to win today, you must accomplish these 4 rules, right? First, following this nutrition plan, right? Following the guidelines, the blueprint, right? And listen, if you have a cheat meal, but it's mindful and you avoid like excess overeating, right? We still mark that as a win. So what do I mean by that is, right, you're Monday through Saturday or, Monday through Friday, you're kicking ass, you're locked in, you're eating healthy, you're following protein, you know everything we teach you in this. And then you're like, you know what? Saturday night though, we're going out to dinner for my friend's birthday and we're going to an Italian restaurant. And the reality is there's going to be garlic bread. There's going to be all these things around you, right? If you're mindful, you're like, okay, I have a piece of garlic bread. And yeah, I got pasta, but I actually didn't finish the whole thing because it was carbonara and it was really thick. And actually, and for dessert, I actually shared it with my friend, right? And you're intentional about like, yeah, I'm eating bad, but I'm not like, screw it, let's do it. And you're eating a bunch of crap. And you're like, I had the whole 6 garlic knots, I ate all my carbonara plus my friend's other meal, and I had 3 desserts. Like, that's going off the wire. When you're intentional about a bad meal, that is still a win, because this time you're not falling off completely. You're being intentional about it. So that's a win. So just to mark that off. Hydration. This is so simple yet so overlooked. Drinking half your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 160 pounds, divide that by 2, you should be aiming for 80 ounces of water. One of my favorite things is actually having a water on hand. This right here, I'm not affiliated with them. This is actually my girlfriend's and I stole it. It's like, Awala. This is 40 ounces, and what's sick is it has a straw and a little thing, so you can either drink it like that or you can use it as a straw. I love it because this is 40 ounces, so if you weigh 160 pounds, you just drink 2 of those a day and you're good to go. But water is so important. We're going to get into that. Physical and mental activity, right? So this is not saying you have to work out 7 days a week for 45 minutes, because that's not long-term realistic, right? But if you work out, congratulations, you did your activity. If you're resting, still do something for your mental health, right? If you're a part of the trainer page, right, our mission is to show you the mental benefits of working out. And because that generally changed my life for the better. So if you're not doing something physically, let's do something mentally, right? Maybe, this is physical, but like going for a walk, but not going on your phone or not listening to anything, just being in your own head, which some people are scared of, but listening to nature, right? Japanese are really big with walking through nature, because you end up focusing on so many things outside in the environment that you're actually out of your head and you're more listening. Just like when you're in the gym, right? You're out of your head and into your body, right? You're not really worried about anything going on because you're so intentional about lifting weights and doing the exercises and watching the trainers and doing those things. But mentally, right? Maybe you journal, right? Brain dump, as I like to call it, right? Whatever's in your head, write it down, speak it into ChatGPT, email it to yourself, do whatever you need to get everything out of your head to give you that mental satisfaction of like, okay, I deloaded, I got everything out, right? That's so helpful for you. Or journal, Write about your day. Write about something that's going on. Write about the wins, right? Write about how the program's doing. Journal every day how you doing. Like, that's something amazing. And then just like stretching or yoga, right? Like, if you're sitting on the couch and you're like, oh my God, I have to do something mindful, do something that is productive. That's kind of the main takeaway, whether it's mental. Even if you're like, I got to get up. I've needed to organize the closet for 2 years and I'm actually going to start it today. Like, that's a mental activity that you're winning because it's something you probably in the past would have put off like you bet, okay? And then it's just overall keeping your body moving, which I'll talk about a little bit more. And then last is limiting junk food and or alcohol, right? Really be intentional on avoiding sugary foods, the snacks that you don't need because you're eating because you're bored. I do that. You know, having fried foods and alcohol. And, you know, exception, if you have something small, like I kind of was talking about earlier, piece of dark chocolate, right? Like, you're like, I need a sweet treat. I know a lot of people are like this, right? I need a sweet treat, but you know what? At the end of the day, I'm just gonna get dark chocolate and I'm gonna have a piece of a bar, right? Like, that's intentional. That's still a win. You're not saying I'm gonna order Friendlies and get the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Sundae, my girlfriend's favorite. So that is where those 4 rules apply, right? So the purpose of winning your day is winning is about effort, not perfection. If you miss one rule, it's okay. Learn from it, but you didn't win your day. So you want to make sure you win your day. And by focusing on daily wins, you create a habit, right? Because what happens is if you win 37 out of the 42 days, so 37 out of 42 days, you followed your nutrition plan, you hydrated, you did some sort of physical or mental activity, you're being productive, and you limited junk food or alcohol. You do that 37 out of 42 days. That is an 88%, right? You were winning. That's a lot of wins, and that will compound, and you are now becoming this version of yourself that you were aspiring to be in the beginning of the program. So just think about that. It's all about micro wins. So now going into, right, macros, we got protein, carbs, and fats, right? And basically, we want to focus on protein, right? We want to focus on healthy carbs and limiting but still having healthy fats, okay? This part I'm really gonna summarize and keep it simple and try to talk directly to you because I'm working on a ton of nutrition stuff and videos and it just helps me. I think this will help you kind of get a better understanding and not be overwhelmed, right? So in reality, okay, if we take a step back, calories are just energy, right? Energy gets stored in our body and then used. Now, however your body size is, age, types, you know, whether you're a man or woman, right? All that stuff. There is an amount of energy your body typically, right, is going to use on average. Now, if you eat the same amount of energy in the form of calories every day, you're not going to lose weight. If you overeat, right, and we have this excess storage, your body's going to store the energy as fat, okay? As my dad used to grab his stomach, say, it's potential energy. That's literally what it is. And then if you eat less about the amount of energy your body burns throughout the entire day, and you eat less than that and you're in this deficit, now your body's gonna pull from the body fat to use as energy, which will equate to body fat and weight loss, right? And then the foods you eat have an impact on that. And it's the total amount. But we're not gonna be counting actually total calories because typically it's very hard to overeat healthy foods. But we are gonna watch our protein because a lot of people do not get enough protein. And protein keeps you more satiated, fancy word for feeling fuller for longer. It's great for recovery. It actually takes more energy to break down protein, so it's great for your body. So in theory, right, if you eat 1,800 calories of donuts and soda, and that's a caloric deficit for you, you will lose weight, but you're gonna feel like shit because your gut microbiome and your gut health is gonna be like in craze. But if you're eating healthy foods and you're eating a balanced amount of protein, healthy carbs, and healthy fats, you will build muscle, your body will recover, you're mentally gonna feel great because your blood sugar and your hormones are gonna stay balanced, and you're gonna feel great overall. So, let's keep going. So now when it comes to alcohol, if you're someone I don't drink, I'm really not a drinker at all. So like, if that's you, you can even kind of fast forward to a minute or two of this part. But if you do, or if you're a person who already drinks, you gotta realize, alcohol is calories, right? Especially like the sugary, the margaritas, and everyone knows this, but that could throw your entire week off if you drink one night excessively because the amount of calories you're consuming, it's more than you probably realize. And then it usually leads to some bad decisions after with food. That was how I operated when I used to drink. right? So you can still drink, but just be super mindful of it. Go for low calorie drinks like Michelob Ultralights, and or just resort to not drinking, honestly, during this program. Because sometimes if you drink more than you realize, you end up being more disciplined because you're not in a more drunk, buzz state where decisions are usually, the discipline lowers, okay? And pre-workout food, right? If you were someone like, I need to eat from a workout, you want to eat simple carbohydrates that break down quickly, bananas, right? And things like that. Like fruits usually good before a workout. Or you even see like people online saying, oh, have a Rice Krispie treat. Like realistically, a 90 calorie Rice Krispie treat is great to eat before 30 to 60 minutes before your workout, because your body's going to break and turn those sugars into glucose and glycogen, which gives your muscles energy. So like, that's okay if you have a Rice Krispie treat because it's actually going to be used for your workout. But if you can work out fasted and you don't feel sick from that, that's great, depending on the time you work out. And then obviously post-working out, right, is having your proteins, whole foods, things like that. So let's get into proteins. So this is the only thing you're going to track. So I know I talked about like macros and total calories, and is that important to learn? Yes, and I'm working on an entire course to basically become your own nutrition coach. I'm super excited for it. But basically, what I've discovered is trying to like really go into teaching someone how to like track their calories. Now, if you know how to do it, great, or you have a pretty good idea of it, great. If you're like, I've never done that, or I don't really like doing it because it does get challenging, this is where we want to keep it really simple. The only thing you're going to track is the amount of protein you're eating. And it doesn't even have to be exact. It's just a more general idea, and you become more conscious of it. So how much protein should one eat? Typically for females, for anyone, it's really 70% of your overall goal weight. So for someone who weighs 100, where am I? Come on. There we go. For someone who weighs, let's say 180 pounds and they want to get down to 165, they would fall into this category where they should eat anywhere from 113 to 123 grams, right? And that might not even seem like that much because it's really not, right? And if you eat more, that's fine, right? So if you're a man, usually for men, I would recommend, right, 137, 149, right? Even if it's 1 gram per body fat, so you're eating 165 grams of protein because that's your goal weight, that is totally fine. But some people have a challenge trying to do that. So minimum is like 113 or 120 in this example, right? So find your goal weight, and that's the range you want to be in, or it can be a little bit more, right? No harm. Like you can go up to 100% of where your goal weight is. Now, how do we track your protein, right? So now, typically, I'm going to skip over the whole foods part. There's usually, if you're a person who eats pre-made meals, which honestly I'm really big advocate for, especially for like redefined meals, because it makes macro and protein tracking so easy, and it's legitimate good whole food. So it kind of like it ends up combining two of these, and it requires you to do less work, and the less work you have to do, the easier it is to execute. But you could right there see how many calories, how many proteins in there, right? All protein snacks or foods have the nutrition label with protein on it. So it's pretty straightforward. But if you're someone who's like, you got a big box of something or you're cooking food, you're like, well, how do I track how much protein's in my chicken breast or my ground beef or my chicken thighs, right? That's where you do want to get like a food scale off Amazon for like $12. And basically, after you cook it, you put the plate on, you clear it to 0, you take the cooked chicken and you put it on the plate until you see the amount of ounces you want to eat, depending on the protein goal. So for example, and that's why we wanted to keep this really easy for you, here are your common proteins. So if you're like, well, I need a lot of protein in this meal, like 50, you can go, well, all right, well, I want to have ground turkey and I want to get close to 50, so I'll probably eat 8 ounces and get 42 grams of turkey. Simple enough. I did the math for you, people, if you don't want to use like an app like MyFitnessPal. So you can easily see it here. We continue it here, right? Other proteins, protein powders. Protein powder is obviously great in order for you to hit your protein goal without, if you feel like you're not getting it through enough foods, which is fine. Here are great protein snacks. We love high protein yogurts, turkey bacon, even cold cuts. Now, cold cuts, obviously some people are like, oh, I heard they're not great for you. Yes and no, like, it's good. You shouldn't eat them all the time, but if you have it once in a while or you're rolling it up as snacks, like, you're fine. A lot of things with nutrition are blown out of proportions, and that's where, again, with my course that I'm making, I debunk all of those. So don't stress about it. And here are even string cheese, right? String cheese, like one thing can have like 10 grams of protein. So 2 of those 20 grams right there, right? People don't realize that with cheese sometimes because it has a negative connotation. So that's the only thing you're tracking. Your goal is to hit the amount of protein you should hit in the day, okay? Then when it comes to, here are vegan options if you're a vegan person, vegetarian, for protein. And now let's talk about carbs. Everyone loves carbs. Carbs are important, but it's the type of carb we want to be mindful of. So the rule around it, right? You're not going to have to track or measure, do anything. I've done this for years with clients and it works wonders, right? Vegetables and fruits are endless. What do I mean by that? You can eat as much as you want, right? I love broccoli. I love air fried broccoli with olive oil. I will eat an entire bag of it. And the reality is it's high volume, right? It's a lot. And usually like, if you look up 100 grams, I didn't know this off the top of my head, like 100 grams of broccoli is like 70 calories. 100 grams of kiwi is 50 calories from a fruit perspective, right? So when it comes to fruits and vegetables, that's where eat as much as you want, right? Now when it comes, and we want to kind of avoid grains. So what I mean by grains, your breads, pasta, cereal, other carbohydrates, complex carbs like that, we want to avoid. And it's honestly the easiest thing to say to yourself is I'm not eating any complex carbs, period. The exception is white rice and quinoa. Quinoa is a superfood. White rice is actually better than brown rice from a digestion standpoint, right? But if you have brown rice, you're fine. But try to stay mindful and say, I only have one cup of cooked. So even if you eyeball it, right? Think like, think about a 1 cup serving, like have that much rice, limit yourself and overload on the vegetables, okay? Vegetables are great because it's high volume, low calories, right? They're packed with fiber. Fiber is great because it's great for digestion. They're loaded with nutrients and they're so easy to prepare, especially frozen vegetables. I have so many variations of them, right? Don't overthink it. Keep it simple. Avoid your grains. Don't go crazy. Go crazy with your vegetables, and fruit is just great to have as snacks, and usually paired it with a protein so you feel more satiated. Because if you just eat fruits, it's a lot of like sugars essentially, right? It's not bad sugar, but it is sugar, and your body, if you just eat a carb-loaded meal, you're typically hungrier after. So trying to pair that always with some sort of protein helps a lot. Okay. Then then here's obviously just a good general option of carbohydrates, some of my favorites. But now let's talk about fats, right? Now fats are good for you, but actually I've discovered with clients is limiting, being conscious of how many fats you eat makes things a lot easier, and you can eat more carbs than protein. And now there are healthy fats, like to skip to the next page, right? Like olive oil, nuts, avocados, peanut butter, even like real butter, right? Those are good fats. Like it's healthy for you. Your body's not going to break that down into something bad. But there's a but there. It's very easy to overeat, or this gives you more calories in your food than you realize. For example, when you cook with olive oil, like I use a stainless steel pan, I coat it always with olive oil, right? And if I make chicken, typically all the olive oil, granted it's getting cooked and burned, it's usually getting on and in the food a bit, like getting cooked in. So that adds like 50 to 100 extra calories than you may be aware of. So same thing with avocados. Like avocados are great, but if you eat a ton of guacamole, they're very dense. So there's a rule called the 449 rule where, 1 gram of carb is 4 calories. 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So what's a really big eye opener to people is if you get like a thing of almonds and you look at how many grams a serving is, typically it's like 28 to 32 grams, okay? If you were to put a little bowl on your scale, your food scale, clear it to 0, and pour those fats, the almonds, into the thing until it hit the serving of 28 or 32, whatever it says in the package, and it's 190 calories, you're gonna see how little amount of almonds and how many calories it is. And this also applies to like peanut butter, typically nuts in general. So, because people, take away, yes, it's a healthier food, but it's loaded, very dense and loaded with calories. So a true story, I was at a friend's apartment and his fiance was saying, I know her and she used to come to the gym and she was like, oh, I'm eating health, like I'm having my late night snack, or like, cause it was late. And I'm like, oh, nice. And I'm watching her and she's like, oh, I'm eating apple with peanut butter. Not bad, right? Peanut butter has protein, obviously it's mainly fats. Apples, we love apples. And next thing you know, I see her taking the peanut butter, right? And she's taking these fat scoops and putting it on each slice, right? And what she doesn't realize, and I eventually told her, like, hey, can I give you some feedback? She was literally adding like a half a serving to each slice, and there were like probably 8 slices she cut. So that's like 3 to 4 servings of peanut butter. So her healthy snack at night that she thought she was probably eating like 300 calories, it actually was like 600 to 700 calories because of the peanut butter. And I've had other clients say they eat like almost a cup and a half of nuts a day throughout the day because it's so easy to grab and go. But those can actually give you, you end up eating a lot more food than you realize. So fats in general, you want to be mindful of and cautious that you're not overeating, because it ends up giving your body it ends up adding more calories to your daily intake, and that can actually, draw the line between being in a maintenance, being in a surplus, or staying in that deficit. So if you're trying to stay in a deficit, be really mindful of healthy fats. Instead of using olive oil for cooking, I prefer avocado oil, right? But limited amounts, right? Be mindful of it. And even when it comes to like eggs, right? Whole eggs are great. There's a ton of nutrients in the yolk, and yolk in general is good. But instead of having like 3 whole eggs, maybe have 1 egg and more egg whites, because it's more protein, less fat, less calories, you're still gonna have that full effect from it, okay? So that is the rules around fat. Whoa, this went pretty far. So that is the rules around eating, okay? You're gonna track your protein as best as you possibly can. You're gonna avoid all grains, but still eat healthy carbs. And you're gonna be mindful of your fats, avoiding bad fats and eating healthy fats, but still being mindful and eating the serving, and maybe even just like, and if you're trying to lose weight, sometimes it's best to not have the avocado, because you're like, okay, I'm not getting more calories than that. Avoiding nuts as a snack. Instead, have a protein bar, or have some sort of fruit with the protein bar, because you can actually eat more food when it comes to protein and carbs compared to like a little bit of amount of fat, right? And some foods have a lot more fats in it than you realize, which give you a lot more calories, so avoid that and be mindful of it, okay? Now when it comes to eating out, right? Because like I said, I'm a big advocate for pre-made meals from like Hummus or Redefined, if you know those places, or there's a ton of more, because those are portion meals, and it keeps it super simple for, breakfast, lunch, and even dinner if you're like a person who doesn't have to cook, or you don't have, you have the luxury of doing that. Now if you're eating out, right? You're eating on the go, you're a busy person like me, you still want to be able to follow a plan and know your protein, so we did it for you. So Chick-fil-A, now that there's a location now in Bohemia, there's a location now in, Comac, Smithtown, Wisconsin area, right? Like there's a Chick-fil-A near you now, right? The grilled nuggets are great. Like I literally will go and get a 30-piece count of grilled nuggets with like the zesty buffalo. And it's like, I love it because I'm eating all this chicken and protein. I'm eating 100 grams of plus protein because I'm a pretty big guy, and it keeps me satiated, right? So, but you don't have to have 30 pieces, but like here, I give you exact amount of protein per thing, right? Basically, stick to what's on here and just be mindful of it. Get grilled nuts and mac and cheese. Great combo. You're getting best of both worlds. Having the cool wrap, having a salad, right? Keeping it healthy, and then keeping with these sauces. Unfortunately, Chick-fil-A sauce is very fatty, so there's a lot more calories, even though it's from God. That stuff is amazing. Chipotle, right? It's Chipotle, or even Redefined Eatery, or the other place that is like Chipotle, but Cabo Fresh, right? Those places are great when you can get a salad, because you can get a salad with a little bit of rice or no rice realistically, loaded with vegetables, loaded with protein, chicken or fish or lean steak. You can have beans with it, right? And it ends up being, right, very, very, high volume. It's tasty, but it's lower in calories. And you want to be mindful of, especially Chipotle, of your cheese, guac, and sour cream. Because I'm the type of guy that would get all 3, but only pick one, because those are higher in fat and it's going to add more calories than you'd like. Okay? Then eating out at a restaurant, you got Outback. I'm a big fan of Longhorn Steakhouse, or even, I don't really go there as much, but the other steak place, Texas Roadhouse, right? Now, be granted, the bread, especially Texas Roadhouse, those cinnamon butter rolls, don't eat those, people, or have a bite and put it away. Trust me, they're dangerous. But realistically, eating at those type of steakhouses like Outback, or those, or if you have the financial means to go to a nicer and getting a steak, right? Sticking to your leaner cut steaks. New York strip is probably the fattiest I'd say go, but your sirloins or filet mignon, or just getting some chicken or fish, right? Those are great because high protein, low calories, and usually get a good vegetable or a potato on the side, things like that, okay? And then if you're a person who likes sushi or hibachi, right? Azumi is very popular, but they're all typically the same, right? I give you an idea of appetizer sushi, main course, all that stuff, okay? Now, it's really hard to gauge how much protein's in each thing, so it's just kind of like, it's usually 40 to 50 grams depending on the serving, or 35 to 50 grams, so you can gauge. Then in here, and I promise you this video will be wrapping up very soon, we're reaching the end. Here are more breakfast ideas, which I won't go into each one. Lunch ideas, dinner ideas if you're eating on the go, so you can pick and choose what you like, and then go get the rest of the food at the grocery store for it. Again, pre-made meals. We love Redefine. They have so many different options. There's a shop now on every corner. You can order online. If you use our code TTP2025, you should get 10% off online only. And then again, I know I kind of went into hydration, but hydration is so important for energy, recovery, digestion, and just focus overall. A lot of people think they need more energy or caffeine. It's usually because they're dehydrated. If you're someone like me who talks a lot during the day, or you're on the phone a lot, or you're in meetings, you might drink more water than you'd like, and you're always peeing, but like, trust me, it's very good for you. You're aiming for half your body weight in ounces, so if you weigh 150 pounds, your goal is at least 75 ounces. If you drink more than that, or you drink a gallon a day, that is totally fine. But if you're constantly peeing and it's crystal clear, you might be peeing out nutrients, so you can cut back on the water. You can have something like electrolytes. Electrolytes are great, especially during a workout. It fuels you, it keeps you hydrated. It's giving you more like sodium or salt, so you can retain the water and not just keep peeing it out. So Ultima is a great electrolyte off Amazon. Their flavors are fantastic, and it's not overbearing when you add into like a whole bottle of water, because sometimes Element or other electrolytes are very strong, where if you really need to add it to like a 30-ounce water thing or a shaker bottle. But if you're looking for just a simple, clean, good electrolyte as a beginner, Ultima is your way to go. I love them. Shout out to my buddy Anthony for showing me. Fasting, intermittent fasting, okay? So one thing I'll say here, now intermittent fasting is great, especially if you're not a big breakfast person. Like I, for example, have not eaten today. I worked out this morning and basically pretty much, sorry, I got distracted. What time is it? It's about to be 12 o'clock noon, right? I haven't eaten today. I'll probably eat at like 1, 2 o'clock. So with that being said, what that will do is that will, I'd be fasted like 16, 17 hours, right? Now my eating window is smaller, so I essentially eat 2 bigger meals because that makes me more full and sit better. Now, is intermittent fasting a fat burning machine? No. Honestly, it's a style of eating that fits people. Just like people that eat carnivore, people that eat high protein, people that eat vegetarian, right? You want to find the type of eating that's best for you. But when you zoom out, it's not the actual concept. It's just because people are able to eat less food than they're burning throughout the day, which is allowing them to lose body fat and weight. So like a 12-hour fast, people usually do without even realizing it. Oh, I completely skipped. So feel free to try it out, read through this. But again, it's not like, oh, do this. It's a fat burning machine. It's not. But you might do it, and you can be intentional about it. Sleep is so important, people. I'm trying to wrap this up because it's way over time. Now, if you are a person who doesn't sleep and you're trying to lose weight, make this a priority. When you don't sleep, you don't recover, your hormones get imbalanced, and it can really affect a lot of things. Because when your hormones get imbalanced, your cravings can get thrown off, right? And even if you have high cortisol because you're very stressed because of the lack of sleep, your immune system shuts down. Like, sleeping is like the one medicine everyone needs to take or improve because it has so many repercussions if you don't focus on sleep. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people don't have the luxury of sleeping 8 to 9 hours every day. Like you hear these people online who just make money from making videos. So understanding sleep cycle is important. Feel free to read through this, but typically aim for like 7.5 hours, like 6 to 7.5 hours. And make it consistent. Make sure your room's completely dark. Make sure you maybe have a sound machine or a fan on, right? Doing all those if you get up and pee throughout the night, try to not drink 2 to 3 hours before bed, right? Doing all these little things allow you to get better sleep, more productive, high quality sleep, which is gonna help tremendously for weight loss, muscle repair, and all those things, okay? And if you're someone who's anxious, do a brain dump before bed and write down everything you got done throughout the day and write down everything you want to get done the next day or the next week. And it gets out of your head. It's on physical paper or in your notes or something on your phone. And that allows you not to, they've done a study and it actually allows people to rest better because they're like, oh, I already wrote down what's in my head and I'm not going to forget, because some people do that at night. When it comes to supplements, probiotics and my magnesiums are go-to. Multivitamins are great. EPA, DHA, omega-3 fatty acids are great. But I'm not a massive supplement because there's so many things that are unregulated. But like, if you have questions, feel free to ask a nutritionist on supplements. They'll give you their 2 cents. These are the ones I take. I take OptiGreens 50 from First Form, and then I take their magnesium at night. Sometimes, really not all the time. And this is kind of, I talked about this in the beginning with the mental and physical activity. I already explained the cheat codes and cheat meals, being mindful of it. And then last, right, the most important thing is planning, right? Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Plan your day out, plan your meals out, think ahead, what you're like, write it down. Because if you have it written down and you already know you're gonna eat and you have it planned out in your schedule, like most people are very good at following to-do lists. So coach yourself on that and plan ahead. It reduces stress, it reduces anxiety, it really allows you to execute a task, and it's really simple, honestly. And there's days things are gonna get messed up, but the more you plan, the more likelihood you're gonna follow it and execute it, and you can adjust if things get changed versus trying to wake up and figure it out as you go. And that usually leads to chaos. And the best thing you can do here is, right, like this is your commitment to yourself, sign it, date it. You're gonna follow these 4 steps, and at the end of it, like if you have this, the physical, right, I either rip this out or fold the page so it's always in front of you, and you can mark down the days you win and the days you lose, and you wanna stack as many W's as possible, because you win your day, the higher chance of you winning your week. You win your week, you win your month, you win your months, you win enough months, you win your year, and you're a new person that you never thought you could become before. So that is that. Thank you for watching this entire video if you did, and I'm sorry it was so long, but I think I nailed a lot of points here. Don't worry about this because you're going to be in touch with the nutritionist, but feel free to ask the staff any questions, and if they can't answer, they'll either reach out to the nutritionist for you or reach out to one of our staff members. And thank you so much for taking part of this program. And if you watched till the very end of this video, thank you. And get after it. Don't overthink it. Keep it simple, stupid. The acronym KISS. And I will see you later.